supplocker, right?
Yes, yes, that is I, that is me.
Yes, the guy. So tell me a bit about yourself, Evan. What made you start Sublocker?
Yeah, yeah, really good question. So, probably 5 or 6 years ago, I was really interested in the idea, like kind of before COVID, of creating my own pre-workout. And I was, putting together different things from like bulk supplements, trying some different blends, and starting to look at different manufacturers like Rock Tomic's one that comes to mind, and about putting mine together, just doing my own, like from the ground up, and got really discouraged. I didn't feel like I had a good knowledge of how to market it, what would really be hot and what would sell. So fast forward a couple years, and my girlfriend and I, we had our baby boy last October. I took some time off from my day job and just hit me. I'm like, hey, let's open up, look for some business opportunities. So I purchased the business off of Flippa, found a really good deal from a guy in Illinois, and just went for it. Said no better time than now, right?
Oh, so you bought the LLC from a guy from Illinois.
Yeah, so I had the LLC from, already established in Florida, so it was just kind of a transfer over. I originally was looking at opening up a brick and mortar, and I'd done some, talked to a couple of different real estate brokers in the area. And at the time it's just too much overhead to get in. I mean, we're talking $50,000 just to kind of like get in there, and what happens if you don't sell anything, right? So kind of some risks.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I actually want to hear about this broker you got it off of. What was his name? What was his company's name?
So the guy I got it from, his name's Tyler actually, and I really don't know like who he's affiliated with as far as like source supplies and products. There's a lot of like ambiguity around that, but he had ran Supplocker since I think 2018 or 2019. He did a retail place in Illinois as well, and then just went full e-com.
Okay, all right, okay. So you got I'm sure it worked out for everybody though. I imagine it was way cheaper than buying a whole brand new LLC, right?
Yes, for sure, man. Yeah, I got, it was nice because I could broker my initial inventory through him. Some things kind of fell apart along the way, and that's all good. But, it was enough to kind of get me going with like Helios, Savage, some of those different pre-workouts, and some other products.
Yeah, I gotta hear. I heard it. So Savage and like Helios. How did that? Because I never heard of What was the other one you had? What was the one with like the white and blue bottle that you had?
Oh,
Uh,
that's probably SVG 75.
yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of pre that you don't hear about. So how did he get a hold of those ones?
Great question, man. That's what I mean. There's still quite a bit that's like shrouded in mystery for me, and that's honestly a little bit of what led to the falling out, if you will, right? Like I was putting in a lot of orders and I just wasn't getting product. It was like taking 5 to 6 weeks lead time versus,
Oh,
when I was reaching out to like Dark Labs, even legit, and I think it's what, Poland or Czechoslovakia. I mean,
oh,
he was getting product to me in like 2 weeks, right? So I'm like, there's no way, there's no reason for this, right? 3 or 4 states away, like, not to be able to get the product. So I got a little bit fed up with it. I'm not going to go into details, but the relationship basically soured. Still a lot of ambiguity there, but yeah, that's basically where we landed. I started sourcing my own product and then eventually just made the decision. I'm like, hey, let's go for an exclusive. Like, let's get one from the ground up and see what sticks.
crazy that you can. It's faster to get it from across an ocean than from 3 states away. That's some
Yes, man.
crazy.
Yeah, I've talked to like High Stem Ace too. I know he's ordered some stuff from I think it was Merrick, and I mean even the payment process, right? Just to pay the guy is like it's like a 13-step process, but still, like you said, quicker than getting it domestic.
That's interesting. But so now that we're on that topic, let's start going into your own pre. So let's talk about the lockdown pre. And I used it yesterday, and after a stim break, I told you yesterday, buddy, but it was a good experience. It felt like it new again. Like I can't wait to try crack purple or drip pre again after having 2 weeks off of the high stims. I was I was gonna have it today, but I did boxing and then my knees are sore. But anyways,
Yep.
I'm getting off topic. So what made you? So how did the whole lockdown process go through? I know you only had 200 units just to see how everything goes. So how did that process go through with the manufacturer and all that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, once I kind of gave myself the green light, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna do this. Like, no matter what, I'll figure out a way. I had a pretty cool connect from a manufacturer in Texas. Like, we had done some chatting and stuff through Instagram. I was throwing some different formulas his way. He was like, hey, I can make this happen. I brought in Jim Dad and High Stem too. I was like floating around the idea. I'm like, hey, I want to do this, have this kind of product. Do you think that this would resonate? So, I tried to involve the community a little bit there along the way. But really from that point, it was a pretty straight process. I paid for some different samples. I think I went through three different formula revisions and tested around with flavors and things like that, and then just gave it the green light, got it going. So I think as far as like the label and all that, I mean, it just came to me in like a week. Every day I was like experimenting with some, I wanted to do something around like skull and crossbones, kind of like this Jolly Rogers. And I knew that I wanted to play into like the lock and locker. So kind of came together where it was sort of like a Jolly Rogers, but with this whole locked in effect.
Right. Yeah. And I have to say, I do like the label. So did you design it or someone else design it for you?
So yeah, so I mean, I like to think of it like I had 80% of the sort of initial concept done. It was just handing it off to a professional developer just to add those final touches. So I work in like digital learning and development in my corporate job, so I'm fairly familiar with AI and how to use certain digital media tools. But the graphic artist is the one that really tied it all together. He put like the little Uncle Sam, made in the USA, like all those little cool finishing touches. You know what I mean?
Right. So yeah, speaking of the USA now, and do you sell some products in the UK or in Europe, or is it exclusively in the United States as of right now?
Yeah, it's been a little all over the place, man. I've been trying to make that standard, but right now I'm shipping to Canada, Australia, and UK. It's just really a matter of, if they're willing to pay that pretty penny for that premium shipping, So if they're willing to, I'll get the product to them.
And did you tell the Australian? Because I know on Reddit, it's in like Australia and New Zealand, it's so hard to get like from a lot of people tell me it's so hard to get elicits over there. It's extremely hard.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I don't know if that's like down to the HMS or the customs information or how they're doing it, but I think I've probably shipped 8 or 10 orders to Australia. Haven't had any concerns. Everybody's been showing pictures that they're getting it. So I don't know. Maybe that's like a HMS code issue or something like that.
That's really good. That's really amazing. So, if you don't mind asking me this, but like
Yep.
on a monthly basis, how many pre-workouts do you think you're selling? Over 500, you would say?
Oh no, shoot, I wish. Yeah, no, not quite that much, man. I mean, I'm still pretty small scale. Maybe just for a perspective, I mean, just looking at lockdown alone, I've gone through close to 90 units in just over a month, so about 5 weeks. So I mean, that's just lockdown. Let's kind of break that down. So I mean, that's 20-ish a week, and then I'd say maybe another 20 or so from all my other products. So yeah, if I was doing 500 a week, I mean, golly, I feel like that's probably like Cartel numbers or something. That's crazy.
I feel like NutriCartel sells over 1,000 a week. I mean, a month. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
that's
no, that's
crazy.
that's that's the goal you want to get to, though. But then you're gonna have to buy a warehouse.
Yes. Yeah, all in due time, man. Maybe 3 to 5 years or something like that.
Oh yeah, I believe in you. I believe you'll get there. But yeah, no, you told me earlier that you do have a full-time job and a kid, correct?
Yeah, I've actually got two boys. So Hudson was just born in October. So he's coming up on his 1 year, and I have another son from a previous relationship. He just had his 11th birthday. So I've been real busy, most every other weekend I've got Colin, my oldest, with me too. So, it eats into how much I can market and do all that other stuff. But yeah, I got to prioritize that, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure he gives you encouragement every day too to do this business.
Oh yeah, man. His jaw dropped when I finally showed him the lockdown label. He thought it was so cool. He wanted to try it, and I'm like, you got a couple more years, man. I can't be giving you this. You're gonna tell your mom.
Yeah. Wait till he's at least 18 for that, but he can have
Yeah,
pre-workouts when he's 16.
yes. Yeah, maybe
But
I'll give him like the Warlord or some of these non-stims just to get a initial taste.
dude, did you stock Warlord on your site? I forgot.
I do. I need to re-up. I'm actually running pretty low on the TMN stuff. But yeah, I had both flavors of the Warlord, Conqueror, and Pillager there. I think I've got like one Warlord left, two Conquerors, and a Pillager.
Oh yeah, dude. Warlord is one of my favorite. as I think it is my favorite non-stim products because it just has the flavor is good. It has good pumps, and I like stacking that with cracked purple or like a very high illicit, like a half a scoop, which really works for me. But
Awesome.
speaking of non-stims, is that no? I know that you just released your own pre, but is that something you're thinking about in the future? Is releasing your own non-stim in the future?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I really like kind of what TMN was doing with things, where they have like a no stem, sort of a mid stem, and a high stem. So I could see myself doing something similar. I had an idea maybe for this is just tentative, right? But like lock up could be maybe a version similar to lockdown, but it's got maybe some added alpha yo and some of that more aggressiveness. And then, I was thinking maybe something like unlock would sort of represent like a non-stem, right? So I could do like a pump kind of focus. So
And then a lock daily.
that's right, man. It's all about the lock. I got to make it work with the supplocker.
Yes, the only thing, if I was to change anything about lockdown, if I were, I would put like an extra 75 milligrams of DMBA. But other than that, I think the formula was perfect. Like you said, other than the alpha yo and maybe another couple other goodies in there.
Yep.
Maybe if you find the 1,3 dimethylamine, but that's it. Then you'll get flagged by the FDA. So that
Yeah.
might not be a good idea if you're
Yeah,
going
yeah.
legit.
I've I actually ran that by my manufacturer, and that's like pretty much the only ingredient that he's not on board with anyway. So I think it's out of the question at least for the time being. But yeah, man, it's always this thing where you get a formula, you put it out there, you hope that it sticks, and you always, especially as a new product, right? Like this was my debut, and there's always that voice in the back of your head, like, man, are people going to shit on this? Are they going to like it? But you have to just be confident, stick by kind of what your vision was. And that's really it with lockdown. I heard so much hype that, oh, this is going to be the next barbarian. This is the barbarian slayer. And I'm like, I'm not even really going for that though. Like I don't want to develop a pre-workout that you can use 2 to 4 times a month. Right. Cause honestly,
Right.
it's bad for business, literally. Like, how am I going to sell that? So I'm really proud of it. I think it made its mark kind of in that mid to high tier, but it's really clean, and I'm proud of that. And I think a big standout for me too that I've gotten a lot of feedback on is none of the drama and none of the crash. Because I've taken crack, I've taken a lot of these other ones, and there's always that kind of feel like shit on the back end of it. So I'm really glad that this one doesn't really have that.
Yeah, I didn't really have any crash with the pre with your pre at all. I didn't have any crash whatsoever, which was nice when it comes to a pre. But to be honest, a lot of pre's don't give me crash. But yeah, no. Yeah, the lockdown pre, solid overall. Was it as strong as Barbarian? No. But that's all right because let's be honest, 700 milligrams of caffeine on top of the DMBA and
Yeah.
top of the DMHA with alpha yo. That's like, dude, that's one of the few pre-workouts where my heart rate got over 170 on lifting. I'm like, oh shit, this is not good.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's that's what I always say. Like, I want to make products that enhance a workout, right? But they don't make it. Like it's I tell my girlfriend this sometimes. Like she used to be working for Ulta and like beauty and stuff, and I said, makeup shouldn't make you beautiful, right? It should enhance your beauty. And I feel the same way with like a pre-workout. It's a tool in the toolkit, but I don't want to make a product that like literally just amps you up so much it's almost like doing the workout for you. So that was my goal.
Oh yeah, and I think that worked out perfectly. Back to what you were saying, it's nice that you say they are tools. I think a lot of people are starting to like. I'm not saying the dailies, obviously, because it does make you push more. But like, oh my gosh, like you never had two scoops of crack purple. I was thinking to myself, these people that are having 2 scoops of crack purple, they said, I'm just standing, my heart rate's at 140. I'm like, why do you want to work out like that?
Yeah. Exactly, man. It's freaking overkill. But I mean, hey, to each their own though, right? Like different strokes for different folks, and I respect that too.
I gotcha. But yeah, it's just like everything in life, everything within moderation. Like your lockdown, I think 2 to 3 times a week max is what you should probably have with that.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah, but okay. So now that we're off of that, let's talk about the future. So what is the ultimate goal for supplocker? What is your ultimate goal?
Yeah. No, really good question. And I think, you know, I don't know that I even have a definitive answer for it right now because I feel like it's just like a work in progress, if you will. I'm still trying to figure out, how I want my overall mix of products to be. Like right now on the site, I'm leaning really heavy towards a lot of the high stem pre's, but ultimately I would like to get to a point where I'm more, proteins, recovery products, like fat burners, sleep, kind of a well-rounded supplement store. And I think, 2 to 3 year goal for me is I do want to open up like a brick and mortar. That way I can have something in the area for physical, products, and then also couple that with like the e-commerce and shipping, nationally or international. So that's still on the plate for me. It's just getting the dollars to make sense.
Now, do you live anywhere with a couple mile anywhere between any colleges? Because that could be a really good place to start. Like even if you're like renting like just like a little space, that could be 'cause, there's a lot of college kids. That's where you want, and that's where all these kids are buying these pre-workouts from.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty close to UNF, so University of North Florida. But one of the things strategically for me that was really appealing about the retail location where I'm at, there's 3 or 4 mom and pop places that are more like central to our downtown area. I'm on like the northern fringe towards the beaches, and I'm literally a half mile from Mayport Naval Station. So there's, I don't know, 30,000, folks like DoD military personnel. So I think that could be a nice niche in the market for me to tap into and just be really well positioned for.
Oh yeah. Those military guys, they do a lot of pre's. I mean, didn't like a couple of those guys die from the old Jack 3D back in the day?
Oh yeah.
Oh gosh, poor those. Uh, yeah, you told me you had Jack. No, I know you had Jack 3D back in the day, but did you ever have the craze back in the day?
No, that I think that came a little bit after. Like I wasn't really into I was mainly sticking to like the GNC kind of stuff at that point, and I don't know that Craze was ever stocked there. Or maybe I'm wrong,
Okay.
was it?
No, well, yeah, no, it was right after Jack 3D.
Okay.
It was after Jack 3D came out, Mesomorph came out, and then I think Craze came out, and it turns out it was actually had meth, like lab grade meth, which I've never had meth before, but if I could go back there, I would try it.
Ooh.
If it's lab grade, you're getting the real good stuff.
Yeah,
But
I mean, I'd be open to trying it. I don't know if I'd sit there and run it forever, though. That sounds pretty intense.
no, yeah, that's like something you'd run like once a month.
Sure.
Yeah, but okay, so yeah, that's that. Yeah, definitely a lot of people like on the naval base and the college. But yeah, that's all down the line. Once you get more products and you say this makes sense, oh, let's do it. Let's do it. But then that's going to be hard for you because you said you had a full-time job, right?
Yes. Yep.
So you have to be at the shop. And now do you go to work somewhere? Where do you like have to show up in an office, or do you work from home from that?
So I'm fortunate in that I work from home, and I mean, I think that would be the idea is like, to start
Yeah.
out.
Oh, sure. I'll have it in a little bit. That was my mother. She asked me if I wanted burgers, which is
Oh,
she's a good woman. You
nice.
were saying? You were saying?
Yeah, man. I mean, I think, that would kind of be it for me is making sure I'd have like some trustworthy staff. I'd probably start out with like a store manager, maybe 1 or 2 part-time associates to help manage it in the interim. But ultimately, I'd love to replace my income from the store, and leave my corporate job too and do that full time. So I could really focus on a lot more of the marketing. Like it's all a one-man army right now. So I struggle with Instagram marketing, getting some quality stuff. I mean, I've got to outsource it and pay versus if I had the time, I could do it all myself, and just plan a little bit better.
Right. Right. Absolutely. I get you. The nice thing. Well, you did tell me that your girlfriend she does clothing too, right? That could be another thing you guys do there too. She could sell her clothing at the store and then be on the table. That's something between you and her to think about.
Yeah, yeah, you mentioned that yesterday too. She's live selling clothes right now, but she could totally get into like doing some cool fitness merch and stuff like that and cross promoting it through the store. I mean, there's lots of different revenue streams. I've actually gotten into live selling too, like twice a week on Wednesday and usually Fridays around 5. I'll start doing, hour and a half of live sales, just kind of show, put my phone across the supplements. When people want me to run something, I'll run it. So it's working pretty well so far. You can get, reviews and get customers that way. And it's just diversifying revenue streams.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you're having fun most of the time, right, when doing this.
Oh yeah. Yeah, man. It's you learn something different every day, man. I mean, I've been through, bad relationships with brokers, having to do like full site redesigns, stuff even with payment processors, man. I got flagged for flagging a peptide actually. It was like BPC 157 and I got dropped from my payment processor. And so, you know, you just learn from that stuff, right? Kind of learn as you go and just be able to pivot. I think that's the name of the game. Like don't let anything crush you, just pivot, put a smile on and keep on chugging. That's what you can do.
Yeah, absolutely, because the only way is forward, right?
That's it.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh man. That's a shame though. You got flagged. That's crazy, dude. That's crazy. It's really a shame. But that's the way it's going because, big multi-million dollar companies kind of ruined it for everybody. Or we talked about this yesterday, but before we got abruptly cut off, but like, and I think you agree, the teenagers and the broccoli heads, bro.
Yes.
They
Yeah,
they
man.
made such a big deal out of nothing.
Yeah, I mean, we saw this recently with Amino Asylum too. Like there was my understanding doing a little bit of research into it. I mean, they've been around for what, 8 or 10 years. They had some new ownership, but I think what happened is the TikTok sort of crowd, they got so many affiliates, right? And people just were not really keeping it hush hush. They were like um being very like braggadocious about how they were promoting the amino asylum, and that just draws scrutiny, man. It draws, especially when you get a lot of younger folks fresh out of high school and early college. Yeah, FDA doesn't like that.
Especially, well, usually the FDA, it takes somebody dying or nearly dying, like because I'm sure if you have kids in their early, let's be honest, these kids in their early 20s, not only are they abusing SARMs, peptides, whatever, they're also drinking and smoking and probably combining all these drugs, which you can imagine your liver is like, hey, stop, I'm dying here.
100%.
So
Well,
yeah,
and
so
I see that too. I mean, there's so much really just research and information out there. And even, people that do blogs and stuff, I mean, they give you, there's lots of instructions there to follow. You just have to follow it. And I think that that's what happens with a lot of these younger people is, they see a goal, they want to look a certain way or look shredded or look jacked, and they want to get that way at whatever it takes. But then they don't want to do the other side, which is, PCT and taking the right steps and protecting their organs and all this. They just want to take the most of what gets them there, everything else be damned. So that's where it gets dangerous.
I think there's some, I'm sure you've seen them off of Instagram, but dude, I hate these people that claim they're natty, but like, bro, you're 18 and you look like a 35-year-old. Who are you trying to fool?
For sure, man. Yeah, I mean, what's his name? I think it was Dallas Carver's one that I keep seeing popping up, and I think the guy was like 28 or something like that when he passed. He was a big bodybuilder guy, but I mean, he's looking like he's like 45, 50 years old. Like it's just insane, man. So, not my personal cup of tea to look at as a role model, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I know exactly. Yeah, it really is. It's just a shame all these kids going on, and they're going to have irreversible damage because no, it's not. I don't think it's a lot because a lot of these substances. It's because they take these substances and they never come off it.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, you can cruise on small doses of certain things, but exactly. I mean, you're better off at some point, going on TRT, right? If you're just going to sit there and like blast and cruise different things, TRT is probably the best option for you. That way, you still have to do it more or less indefinitely, but I think it's better for you in the long run.
Right. I gotcha. Yeah. So now that we're let's see how much time do we see. All right. But now now that we're talking okay, so since we're talking about the illicit side of the now as the man getting the the DMHA, AMP, citrate, how hard were those things to get? Because it's not the most popular stimulant, for most people, How hard was it for you manufacturer to get it?
You know, I don't know how hard for him it is to source in particular. I mean, I know he's got a what I perceive to be a pretty decent supply of, the amp, on standby, but yeah, I mean, he was pretty open about it. He said the only thing that he won't touch is the 1.3. So, he's got it, and I had to sign a waiver too, that if anything were to happen, it's on me and not the manufacturer. But it's all good. I mean, I don't think it was any major issues there. But I know that is kind of a dwindling ingredient since the ban and everything.
Hmm. And I think that, hey, you know what? I believe that there'll be something else to replace. I believe, I think in the next 10 years, I wouldn't be surprised if DMAA is completely gone. Like, I think legit and crack purple, there might be a couple more that come out that might have the goods, but when it comes to pre-workouts, I think that getting in pre-workouts, you're not going to be able to find it within the next 10 years.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
like
$100%.
at least the good stuff. Like you're not unless you get it like from China, but who knows with everything that's going on in China over there? Who knows if we're even going to be able? Because Trump just like banned like a whole bunch of like what was it? Heroin, like it was like a bunch of substances. He just banned a bunch of those from China. So I don't know how that's going to work over the next 10 years because I know
Oh
where
yeah.
DMH. Yeah, I don't know where our DMHA comes from. I think it's most of it probably comes from the U.S. Maybe some in Poland too. I'm sure you heard about that with the Polish labs getting raided. What was it?
Yes.
WXN. Yeah, WXN. Did you hear a lot about that? Because I haven't really heard like they just got raided. You know anything? Got anything scoop?
Yeah, no, I don't. I mean, I heard about that. I've seen something like maybe 6 to 8 months ago or something, and that's what caused some of the reformulations on the Dark Labs. When I actually got reached out to Dark Labs and got it stocked for supplocker, I'm pretty sure I was only like a month or two after that. They just set up their US distribution, and yeah, that's when I got that kind of second bad batch, if you will. So it was an interesting time I chose to get them in.
Oh, did you get the new purple and the new crack gold?
Yep.
That's a shame. I bet you still have a lot of those, or do you sell most of them?
I mean, they sell pretty decent. They didn't there for like the first month, I think, but as people kind of, this is just my take, right? But I think people kind of got over the initial shock, and so many people hold on to that too. Like they're fishing for a product from 2 or 3 years ago. It's like, well, you got to deal with what's on the table too, So I think more people were opening up over time to, let's try it out. Maybe outright it sucks, right? But maybe if I can stack like a half scoop or a scoop of the new stuff with something else I prefer, maybe it's a cool Frankenstein mix. So I think that's what I've seen happen.
Right, and I think that's another thing that people think about is like, I mean, I'm sure when you had Jack 3D back in the day, and you compare to like some of the pre-workouts, it's like night and day. Like you're never gonna get that. Well, there might be you're never gonna get that experience again, right?
For sure. Yeah, I mean, and
But
at the time too, like it was interesting with Jack, right? Because it's one of those things like you don't appreciate it until it's like hindsight, right? So at the time it was like, oh yeah, this will be here forever. And then you fast forward and it's like, yep, look at what happened, right? Like it got flagged. And there was another product I remember from Muscle Tech. I'll see if I can find you the old label for it, but there was like a Creakick, a Lukic, and then they came out with one called Gakic, which was like their energy kind of potency blend, and it was 8 capsules you'd take. It was ridiculously strong. I mean, I took that back in the day with my lifting buddy, and it was like on a whole nother level. Nothing I've had since compares to it.
now, yeah. Okay, thank you. My mother, yeah, she wants me to have some burgers, but that's
Yeah,
okay.
man. Loving mother. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, but so now I was talking to a lot of people. So how many tubs of Jack did you go through back in the day?
Oh, I mean, only like 2 or 3. I mean, I wasn't really into the whole like stem junkie sort of thing. I was just trying out different stuff. Probably 2 or 3 of those. Yeah.
And you never had any side effects from that stuff.
No. I think the only thing that I remember from my early 20s that I tried, it was one of the early Blackstone products. And I think they were sending
Oh,
out mail samples of I honestly don't know, whatever it is, anabolic muscle activator or something like that, right? And I remember I think it came with like 3 servings, and I took two. And I remember I was outside, and I think my truck or something was near, and I was looking at myself in like the window and stuff with my pump, and I had like the freakiest, sickest pump. Like my arm like tripled in size, and I was like, "There's something's off with this. Like something ain't right if it's hitting this quick." and I know that's the only thing that's changed. Like some of that early Blackstone stuff was off.
That's I never. That's funny you mentioned that because I've never heard anybody mention that before. Maybe that's why he went to jail.
Yes, yeah, both,
Oh,
right? I mean, exactly. It caught up with them, but it's just crazy like when you look back like how much less scrutiny there was kind of in like the from 2000 and 2005 was kind of where I started lifting and everything and up until, a couple years later, but it was like a Wild West.
yeah, I would have killed to be born in the uh to be born in in that time when with the pre-workouts. 2000, what was it? 2011 to like 2016 was the king of pre-workouts, right? The king. And now you get like a bunch of I mean, a lot of dailies, there's nothing wrong with this, but I feel like a lot of dailies are just like the same thing, except they have a different flavor and maybe just
Yeah.
like a slightly different ingredients. But other than that, they're all basically the same for the most part.
Yeah.
That's why that's why we exist to do a certain type, the stem junkies.
Yes, no, 100%, man. I mean, that's what's happening, I think, with like the mainstream audience at large, like Ghost and Rule One, a lot of these brands. I mean, the only thing they're differentiating on is flavor. And it just gets so much to the point, like, I don't want triple apple pie a la mode flavored whey protein. I'm more of a purist. Like, give me the chalky vanilla, give me the chocolate, or give me just unflavored. Like, I don't want all this weird, you know, goofy ass flavors. I just want whey protein for my muscles. It's that simple. Keep it simple.
It's funny that you mentioned that too. Like, I went to GNC and I'm looking, and I went there. I'm like thinking to myself, people are actually buying this. Like you can get like what was it? Gorilla mode is like they changed the recipe. It's like 50, $55 now for or $60. Is it 60? It's $60 for a regular pre-workout. I'm thinking to myself, man, I bought Judgment Day off you. I could get like something like some other stuff like the new legit was good. I'm just thinking to myself, why would you keep paying for this? Why would you pay for this?
Yep. Yeah, man. It's kind of like I always think of it like like the Matrix, right? Like if you're plugged into the Matrix and you don't see the reality, you're gonna go to the Nutri shops and the GNC. But like once you get kind of unhooked with some of the illicits and the real deal, you never really turn back. So that's kind of just how I see it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's the reason why you started Subblocker, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I wanted to do supplements, and when I was looking at like the retail side, I was initially looking at kind of like competing with GNC, and that was another thing, like not just the initial cost, but how do I beat them on price too? Like it's a real concern when you're offering all the same stuff with nothing with competitive advantage. The only thing you can adjust is price. So, I'm really glad that I have the products that I have at Supplocker and some exclusives because that's where you kind of win out. People start to know your store for a couple of cherished items. They know they can get it from you, and they know that you have good customer service and maybe even some discount codes, that's going to give you your competitive advantage.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm actually really surprised that GNC is. I'm actually shocked at how many stores they still have when you could just like order. You could order their entire catalog online, and you don't even need to. And especially like a lot of my local gyms. Well, okay, yeah, a lot of local gyms, like local bodybuilder gyms, they have supplements in their shop. It might be
Sure.
small, but they still. Why would you can't get any more convenience than that if you're going to the gym there, and then you can just go say, hey, I want this I don't know, I want this Redcon or something. I don't know. Because that's what a lot of gyms are starting to do. And actually one of my gyms, they actually have a supplement. It's an area where you just get like it's like a self-pay. You pick out what you want and you pay for it and then you leave,
Hmm.
which is very interesting by the way.
Yeah,
There's
that
cameras
is.
all there's cameras all over it like because they know if you take something, they know who it is.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. I mean, it's convenient, right? And I think, that's a good point too about like brick and mortar because I see on Instagram there's a lot of advertising for, certain sources and brokers, right? They only cater to brick and mortar too. So there's a lot of advantages with that. Like you can source some really unique products, if you will. I think I've seen what is it, global supremacy. I don't know.
Firestorm?
Yeah, like that's one of them that, a couple of them kind of get out there, but At least to me, I've seen brokers say that that's a brick and mortar exclusive. So I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't had Firestorm. I haven't gotten a review out of it. I got a couple samples, but I've been doing so much other stuff that
Mhm.
I don't want to. I don't want to deal with the samples unless it's like because I just got my other stuff.
Sure.
Oh, so you told me you had Excelsior, right?
I did. Yeah. Jim Dad sent me some about 2 weeks ago, and oh geez, I should have checked. I think it's oh I don't know 0727 and ribbed. It's not smooth, but I mean it was solid overall. Like I was impressed with it. It had a pretty potent kind of like head high euphoria, but it didn't last quite as long as I thought it would. And like overall, I honestly thought the flavor was
Overpriced.
horrible, but overall it was a good experience.
That's good. Yeah, I'm glad you had a good experience. I like Excelsior, but like, is it worth $110? The newer batches? No, I don't think they are. Is That's another thing. Have you thought about like maybe putting that on your website in the future, or just like it's just too much money for those? It really is. That's a lot
Yeah,
of
I mean,
money.
for me, it's really about the wholesale. Like I actually have talked to I believe it's Predator in the UK,
Yeah,
Predator Nutrition, and then they kind of referred me over to Eva's in New York. And I reached out to both of them to see if there's any kind of like wholesale distribution. None. So I mean, I think Eva's is one of the ones that has exclusivity, and I don't think there's really a way around that right now.
and so it's not worth like buying in bulk from them because you're just gonna make your money back from that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Like it's kind of a cool factor. Maybe some people would come, but like, yeah, for me, I mean, I have to focus on things where I'm at least making some net on, right?
Right, absolutely. And yeah, that's the business of it. It's just to make money. That's our goal, right? To make money.
Yes, 100%, man.
It's it's also to have fun sometimes too.
Yes. No, no, absolutely, man. And that's why I've loved, people like you and Jim Dad and Heist and Ace and everybody, just the cool community aspect, man. Always coming through with good reviews and really solid, like, reconnaissance on the industry and tips for me because it's so helpful having you guys kind of like out in the field, right? Giving me tips on what to source. And hey, we're probably going to cut off automatically here in like a minute too, just so you know.
Yeah, no, that's what I was about to say. We have a minute left, but yeah, but Evan, I do appreciate you having this interview with me again. And I had a wonderful time. Hopefully, maybe we can have like maybe next month. Once you start getting things done, we can have another interview and talk about hopefully everything's going a little bit. You sold. I hope by next month you sold all your lockdowns.
Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate the good vibes. And Gino, it's a pleasure, man. Let's keep in touch and let's keep doing this.
All right, Evan. I'll
All
see
right.
you later.
Talk
Bye
soon, bro.
bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.